talk you through all the tracks on Testament, our new album, which is out July the 27th. Track 1 on our album is called Fuji Lux, and it has quite an iconic little talking bit at the start, which is Nick's little thing there. That's what she just
I wrote it with George Moore, and it was actually one of the first demos that I did coming off of our last tour. I went in the studio, it's the first time I got in the studio with George, and yeah, that's what we came up with. Do you know what? When we started writing it, I loved the drama in the music and just wanted to go down that road of making it quite dramatic, and that's kind of it.
Wow, this is going to be great, guys. The fans, you're going to love this. Get used to this. This is just track 1. Just track 1. Wait until you get to track 11.
So the second track on our album Testament is called 3/4. What I remember about when we recorded 3/4 is we were in the studio with KG, Carl Gordon, and we had a few drinky poos while we were recording. And it was actually quite early on, wasn't it? It was one of the first that we did for the album. And we just kind of steamed in on that song, and I think you can tell from the lyrics. It's pretty steamy.
We threw down ideas.
Yeah, we threw down ideas, and we had a great time in the studio that day.
So track 3 on the album is Love Lasts Forever. That song was produced by Carl Gordon, and I wrote it inspired by my son, just about how our kids, how they grow and they change and they have to go out into the big wide world, but we're still here as parents and as family, and you know, all that kind of stuff. It was one of the songs that we all kind of pretty much instantly.
Yeah, I was so excited when I first heard it. You sent it through about 11:30 at night, midnight, and I listened to it over and over again for the next 4 hours, and couldn't actually wait to get out the next day so I could put it on the big speaker in my house. And yeah, instantly, I think we've been like, that was the first song that personally I heard that I was like, okay, we're fine. Like, this is good. This album's going to be amazing.
Track 5, No Issues, was again written with George Moore. He happens to be our MD in the band, so it's quite nice to work with somebody who already knew us vocally and sonically, and you know, sometimes when you go into the studio with new people, it can be quite, you know, the process can be quite long in terms of them sort of knowing your vibe and what you're about. But obviously going in with George was great because he has worked with us on both sides, so was able to also, I think, go down the road of creating something with live in mind.
Yes.
So that was, I love it. It's up tempo. I'm not one of the most, you know, I'm not a big, I love hearing other people's up tempo tracks, but as far as writing, I kind of like to stick in the mid tempo range. So it's quite nice to kind of do something up tempo, and I like the energy. I like the energy of it. It's a cool song.
Okay, so the next track is After All, and this was a song written by Shaznay and Hutch, who also produced One Strike, and was produced by William Orbit. So this is our William Orbit track.
I'm really glad that William came on board actually and produced After All, because I think that was the perfect song for us to kind of do with him. I love the fact that he just brought in all his sounds that he's renowned for and just turned it into a really classic, I think, All Saints sounding song, kind of in terms of Pure Shores and Black Coffee. It just kind of came back in on an elevation.
I think it took us, that was actually one of the only songs on the album that took us a minute to get our heads around it as well, because originally when you wrote it and you first played it, we felt like it was an amazing, it had an amazing chorus, like the whole vibe, but it wasn't as it was when we first heard it. It was nothing like what you hear like now, and we kept going back and forth, and Shaz would be getting mixes back, and she wouldn't even play it to us because she knew there was no point. Because we'd be like, what's going on? But the fact that we got it to this point and now it's one of my favourites on the album, I think is like it's testament to how good we are at choosing producers.
Nice one, Mel.
Thanks. Track 7 is I Would. Again, this is a track that I remember when Shaz sent it to me, I was just like, yeah! Not only is it an amazing song, but it's just that proud feeling that, Shaz, she don't even need no one, she just walks in there, she just does it on her own. Wait till I learn how to play the piano. Then it's going to be really good!
I came up with that song whilst I was in the sauna.
Nice.
She was naked!
I had my phone in my wash bag. I didn't want to forget it, so I had to run out the sauna, grab my phone, and obviously didn't want anyone to hear me. So I ran back in the sauna and recorded it.
This is news to us, by the way. This is news to us.
But it does sound like, obviously, a love song, but it's actually not a love song. It's actually about, at the time, what was going on, what still is going on, like in Syria and Aleppo and all that kind of stuff. And the chorus was based around, in my head, just being quite helpless and what all the things that I I would want to do if I could. So that's actually what it's about. And I just remember
it was inspiring.
Yeah, that's what inspired us.
Track A is Don't Look Over Your Shoulder with a little bit of Benny and the Jet vibes from Elton John, which is one of my favourite tracks on there. It's just really groovy. And I really enjoy it. And Shaz,
amazing.
Yeah, and Shaz wrote it in Ibiza.
I love it. I love the horns in this track.
Oh yes,
very horny.
It's a very horny track. It was written with George Morgan, and actually we wrote this, like Nick says, we wrote this in Ibiza. We went to Mel's house.
Also, it was actually because you'd written another song, and the idea was that this next song would be a follow-on plot line that went afterwards, but the previous song never got on the album, so now you're just getting the punchline.
So you don't know the beginning of the story.
Track 9 on the album is Fumes. I did this with Carl Gordon again. It came quite late actually. This was like probably one of the last songs that we did in the album, and I loved the backing track, and it kind of sat around for a while. Then once we sort of came up with an idea, it happened quite quickly.
I love the verses on this track.
Yeah, I love it. I love the vibe of it.
Yeah. It's really good.
Track 10, Testament in Motion, was actually a song that William and I had written together quite a few years ago. And it was a song that I never really wanted to give to anybody else because I always felt it was an All Saints song.
Okay.
Obviously the original demo, bringing it up to now, 10 years later, because I think we wrote it like 10 years ago, it needed obviously to kind of be revisited. So, which we did, and actually Mel gave quite a lot of input musically as to where she kind of honed in on certain instruments which I actually didn't even take much notice of, to be honest. And once sort of getting those instruments enhanced, it then took the track in a different dimension. And yeah, I'm actually really glad that I held on to it for 10 years and that we finally did it.
Track 12 is glorious, and this is one of my particular favorites. I remember when Shaz sent it to us, it wasn't even fully written yet, and I was just like, there's something about the song. When she worked on it, because we went in to record it the next day, she wrote it that night, and I couldn't believe the lyrics that she came out with. She's so talented, so clever, brilliant. It's about Nick. It gets to me, yeah. It's obviously about Nick because it's amazing. And it was like one of the last songs that we recorded actually that we went into the studio to do. So it was like we were pretty much done, and it was just like, how about this, guys? It was just the last hurdle, and it was like it just floored me.
And And the last song is Footprints. Again, I love
Shaz
this
was walking on the
song.
sand and her footprint was in the sand.
Shaz has got massive feet. No, basically, it's a song that Shaz originally wrote with Fred Ball, who did Summer Rain on our last album. And it started off very simple. It was very simple, and then as we went along with it and sort of the production, we weren't sure where to take it again with production, until again the last minute we just decided to scrap everything. It was that, in fact, KG had sent us a version just for us to approve vocals, and when he sent that, he turned down all the backing track, and actually we were like, I kind of like it like that. So we looked at it again. Also, like, being influenced as well at the same time by Chloe and Hallie, these two sisters that I made Shaz listen to, and we listened to their album outside, and by the point it was really just like that. Okay.
Driven by their vocals.
Yeah, and we were like, actually, sometimes less is more. And as soon as we just took everything away from the track and just let the song breathe, it just turned into this whole other entity, and it's about, you know, just a feeling, and so we decided to end the album with that, just because it's a quiet statement, but I think it's a really beautiful song, and proud of our girl, smashing it out, that one.
Hi, we're all Saints, and we can't wait for you to hear our new album, Testament, out on the 27th of July. Thanks for watching! Thanks!